All right, welcome everyone. Weird Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for a new show.
Megalobox.
Megalobox, yes. Episode 1. So,
Yes.
we have started a new show to replace Ancient Magus Bride.
Right.
There it is. Thank you, patrons, for voting for this show. It was a...
Surprise win.
a surprise win, yeah.
Kind of came out of nowhere.
We had some other pretty popular shows that had come out recently that were on the poll. And this one we were like, yeah, this seems like a good one. And then, woof, just goes straight to the top. We're like, okay.
All right, let's do this.
Yeah, it looks like some kind of boxing show.
But with like the mechanical bits.
Yeah, there might be some kind of a sci-fi element or steampunk. I'm not really sure what that's all about.
Yeah.
But we have never watched a true boxing
That's true.
anime ever, really, before.
Right, because there's that one that's really long that people
And it's
keep...
old.
Yeah, that people keep recommending. I forget the name. Yeah, I think that might be what it is.
You're being sarcastic, aren't you? You're like,
yeah.
we always hear recommendation to watch Hajime no Ippo. Yeah.
But this one might be a little bit shorter.
Yes, this one's going to be a little bit
currently
shorter, so that's good. But also, we're having a lot of fun watching a lot more recent shows.
Yes.
We've been watching, like, up until recently, a lot of, like... kind of older shows that it's like, how have you not watched this already?
Right.
But now we're watching things, like
stuff
Ancient Magus Bride.
Right, or
Place for the Universe.
and
Yeah.
stuff like that, yeah.
And then Megalobox here. So,
Yeah.
it's going to be, it's going to be
fun.
good. So without further ado, let's get into this.
黙って服従すること
Oh,
それは臆病者の道だ
dang.
All right.
とどまるか抗うか
Whoa.
運は今
Okay.
何をしてる
I like this main character kind of thing, like introspective. Who am I?
It has a very, 90s, early 2000s look to it.
Like it's intentionally trying to give the appearance of being from the 90s.
The
line art and
Cowboy
stuff.
Bebop vibe.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh, cool.
Awesome.
I like it. Oh,
Yeah.
I saw some detail there on the bike.
Oh, yeah.
Oh. Is this the opening? No.
No.
Whoa.
Okay.
The
All right.
ambiance combined with the music is just good.
どっちもしちゃいない
It's like a little bit of a disconnect there.
まさに
All right.
と言えるでしょう
Sure.
メガロニアなのです
Megalomania, but Megalonia.
Yeah.
Okay. Megalonia World Championship Tournament.
Like
Yes.
WrestleMania, but mega.
Yeah.
と名乗りを上げた強者たちが4人に絞られる出場枠をめで指導しています
The whole show is basically a tournament arc, essentially.
Technology.
Oh,
ですメガロニアは
Gear
その
technology.
重要な第一歩となるでしょう
So gear technology is relatively new. Ha!
何すりゃあんな壊れ方する
I drove it off a cliff.
Yeah.
ニアは国籍年齢資
Okay.
格を問いま市民に開かれたトーナメントです、
We believe in equal display of violence.
That's some hand-eye coordination right
Yeah,
there.
yeah. I wonder if there's a huge like gambling ring that they're running behind the scenes of this whole thing.
I would be surprised if there wasn't.
Yeah, I don't need to see any potential competition.
資格があんのは全ての市民
Oh, his voice is very like
Yeah.
older sounding. He doesn't sound like
Very
a kid.
not underdog sounding.
Right.
Oh.
Oh.
それもいいさ
Ah, I see. That was a very clever world building shot without really saying anything.
Yeah. Yeah, there's definitely.
Oh, then we go
gambling on
straight
these.
to like dog fights or something,
Okay. The
or
soup
dog
pot.
races maybe. It is dog racing. Okay.
で生きる七種の男ジャンクドッグ様納品完了こないだの試合でだいぶ稼がせて
Yeah. There's a lot of gambling. Yeah.
今夜の試合は俺の勝ちに
Yep.
Oh, that's implying he bet on him losing.
If I was just a bit younger in my day, I would have whooped all your asses.
If I hadn't
The
dislocated
drunk
my
monk.
shoulder that one
The
time.
drunk monk. That gives me idea for like a tabletop RPG character. Like,
Well, yeah, because it's basically just a Jackie Chan like drunken
Yes.
boxer. Yeah.
but monk, like a true monk.
Uh-huh.
There's so much attention put into the background stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
今日もいい負け
I love it.
頼むぞ
Ah, gotcha. It's one of these stories where he's an intentional loser,
聞いてねえのかよ
so that he rigs the betting, and then he gets a cut of the gambling winnings.
よ相棒
どういうことか説明しろよ
Is this his dad?
No, I don't think so.
It's like his own bar, and he's probably drinking at
Yeah.
His own bar, you know. Oh, dang. Megalonia? So that earpiece
is so that he knows when to throw the fight or something.
Like maybe once they get enough bets in, you know? Oh, dang. Yeah, so betting is a huge aspect of this world. Whoo! Dang, blood. Wow. Holy crap.
All right.
Yeah, so this is a pretty harsh environment. People have no problems having Colosseum-level violence, basically. Yeah, okay, nice. Whew.
This guy is totally like, he is a Spike Spiegel fanboy to the
Yes, he is.
And that's not a bad thing.
Okay. That'll get people to like bets on him winning.
Right.
Right. And then up the odds. Yep. This music is really good.
It is.
Like it's very simple, but it just gets the right vibe across.
I'm sorry though.
Yeah, that's the thing. I'm getting
totally unrealistic.
Right. But I'm also getting the the Attack on Titan vibe, where they have the gear that makes them do something that's not realistic at all.
Right. It's not.
But it's just like, so rule of cool. It just works. So much for being a slow start. Yeah.
And I'm also noticing that they're repeating like animation.
Oh, classic.
All right.
Yep. Ho ho.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
I like how they're also not putting all the sound into the punches hit, but they're putting it into the gears, like motors and tuning and stuff.
Good at pulling those punches.
Yeah. Yeah. But that little energy thing they threw out, that's essentially like a battery or something?
I guess.
True. Whoa. Dang, you're right, though. That's true. He could have let up his block earlier and had the time to deliver the punch. This is one of many little scams getting pulled off in this whole area. Yeah. Oh,
and he's
right. Ah, there you go.
But he's gonna say, you know what? No, I want to.
We all know where this is going. Oh! Oh! Oh, jeez.
The art is really
the art is really good. Even the condensation on the bottle. Like,
right. What's the backstory for this guy, though?
Yeah. I like that we don't really know his name because it asks us to ask more questions, essentially. 91 days. Okay. So they're still kind of building the arena for this whole thing. Okay, building up this guy. Kire got the midnight voice.
And since his name is Yuri, why don't we?
And he calls her owner.
On an ice rink. That's nice to have the antagonistic, type characters be talking about the dream.
What? What are they trying to insinuate here? Whoa! Whoa!
Oh! Is he okay? Like, he could be seriously hurt.
And she almost died.
Yeah. Oh, and he sees the gear.
Yeah. What if there's no real antagonists in this, and they actually are kind of like, they see this young boy and they're like, oh, you have heart and you want this and stuff?
Right.
Then we'll kind of... Whoa. Dang.
Okay. And this is his end.
Whoa. Yuri's like, you touch her, you die. He's like, wait a minute, who are you? Yeah, he's like, oh, shoot. Oh. Oh.
Okay.
Alright, this just got interesting. Yuri's like, hey, punk. Oh. Oh, okay. We have to build up the rival.
Right.
Oh, crap. He's so tall, his reach is gonna be insane.
Yeah.
The scrapper's about to get scrapped. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Oh! That is a cool effect. It was at this moment that Junk Dog knew. Oh, okay. Well, he really is a We have the junk dog and the trained dog.
Right,
Like,
right, exactly.
Yep, yep. Oh, he doesn't have any ego though. Like
Nope.
his ego is tied to her. That's actually a really interesting thing about his character, because if he got upset about that,
Right.
it would betray a simplicity to his character.
Right. Like this, the exhaust.
Yeah. It seems like they artificially made things grainy.
どっかで思っちまうんだよ。信じる。そんな生き方も
Oh.
悪くねえよ。
Life beat it out of him.
おい相棒聞いてなかった
I'm
のかよ
lost in my own thoughts. Give me a break.
今日はガチンコの約束だろ
Mmm.
言う
Well.
なら1ラウンドでぶっ倒すぜ
Oh, wait. Is that her?
Possibly. It could also be Yuri.
誰か呼んでこいよイカ様を終わりにしたいって言ったらどうす
Wait, wait.
Yeah, they're
wait.
recognizing him, so.
本気で言ってんの
Oh, crap. It is. Yep. Oh my gosh.
話は終わっちゃいねえぞ
Oh my gosh.
Wait, he's the actual scheduled
yes.
fighter?
Why is he here? Oh.
Oh, he's just showing up and saying, "No, I'm gonna be fighting."
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. He's got like bionic, like
Yeah.
cybernetically. Oh my gosh. That's the Yuri.
He lives and breathes the life. That
Integrated
looks-
gear.
that
Oh my
looks
gosh,
really
his
cool.
spine looks like it's been altered.
That looks pretty awesome.
おいメガロボックスチャンピオンだよ
Yeah, that's right. He didn't know.
He didn't know that. Oh, this guy's story is about losing. And right now he needs to lose to the best in the beginning. So that he knows that he can handle anything. Because this is the highest wall. Yeah. He's like, you're gonna kill my partner. Like, oh my gosh, that derpy little like Armstrong hair bit. Says who? And the guy's like, I need to make a call. Like, oh, dang. Oh, he gave it back. The music is going. So actually, the champion does have some ego.
Yeah.
He came here.
信じた自分ってやつ
Yeah, they're gonna cut the episode before this.
right as
There's
it
no
starts.
way we're gonna watch this in the first episode. Yeah.
大使がリングネームじゃ
Oh,
I wouldn't have it any other way.
they don't make tombstones for stray dogs. Whoa. Not dead yet. Okay, so the show itself is starting off very simple. It's getting the foundation down. We have the core characters in place. We have Pops, essentially, as we can just call him.
Right.
Junk Dog's partner.
Uh-huh.
We have a main character who doesn't use his real name.
Right, so we can just call him Junk Dog then. I
Right,
guess.
but it's kind of the same way as a character wearing a mask, before you
Right.
even know anything about them.
Sure.
So I'm curious as to why he doesn't use his real name.
Cool.
Oh.
So they set the groundwork for everything very quickly, like the fact that okay, this is a sports anime,
Right,
But they're
right.
having him already be like, okay, next episode he's fighting the champion, kind of a thing. It's like, wow, that was quick.
Yeah, there's no no essential like training arc that's been initiated from the
Right.
beginning. What it seems like what they're gonna do is they're gonna make this a story about a guy that loses a lot,
Right, and he'll
but
lose
keeps-
his way
but-
to success,
but
kind
keeps
of a thing.
going.
Yeah.
And it's that it's kind of a lot of typical good shonen tropes, having the belief in yourself,
Right.
jumping higher than you should be able to,
Yeah.
pushing past what society says you can do, what your elders say you can do.
No matter how many times you get swatted back down.
Right, exactly. But the way they instigated there to be this subplot around the whole idea of a really violent sport, because with that kind of cybernetic or just kind of gear related stuff, you could take someone's head off in one punch potentially.
Yeah, it's kind of like one of those things of like, it's, again, an anime, so, it's
yeah,
the rule of cool. But it's just one of those things of like, you'd be killing people in there, like, regularly.
I mean, people die in just regular boxing.
Exactly, yeah, so something like that. It's like,
And
oh my
not
God.
that often, but what they've set up though is this idea that he's kind of the kid in the slums with
Right.
no real family or connections or anything. So he's kind of a blank slate right now.
Yes.
But he has a chip on his shoulder regarding how megaloboxing should be done. Why he has that?
Exactly.
Who knows? Because
Yeah.
it doesn't seem like he gets it exactly from the other guy who was kind of his mechanic guy.
Right.
The gearhead
and there's
at the store.
And it seems, very clear that there is a reason for it that we're going to get at some point in this story. Especially since, the whole thing of, like you were saying, not having a name, that's kind of like a mask, and the only reason you have a mask is if you have something to hide. So
or at the very least, there's some value that they tie to the name that's not relevant to the story yet.
Exactly.
But it will be at some point.
Right.
So the chance encounter on the highway was something I just did not see coming. Because
Me neither. Yeah.
it's something that escalates the plot and moves along things quicker. And it's a natural extension, I'd say, that Yuri then has some part of his ego kind of hit there. And I jumped the gun a little bit too soon saying that, wow, Yuri's a pretty complex character, and that his ego wasn't triggered at all by that whole thing.
Well, I mean, because his ego was triggered, but there's still that, like, contradiction thing that even if he does act on his ego, he doesn't act solely on his ego.
Exactly.
In a lot of ways, he acts less on his ego than Junk Dog.
Junk Dog is very ego-driven right now.
Which maybe that'll be a point of development, Maybe it's something where it's like, okay, like, there's a difference between, like, being optimistic and being stupid. Like, you need to figure out the balance between the two and, come at your opponents and your matches with maybe a bit more of a strategy in mind.
Sure. I think also this fight that we'll see in the next episode will show kind of what strategy even makes sense when you have gear added to the dynamic of boxing.
Sure.
Because there's the typical kind of boxing strategies and stuff, and we saw some small examples of that when he was, countering and making his punches and stuff. But I don't know too much about boxing, but I can see just from the frame, the stature of Yuri, that Junk Dog's gonna get pummeled.
Yeah.
One, when you have that much height, that means your reach is longer.
Yep.
And just the fact that his technology is better.
And the fact that this is episode 2 of a sports show.
Well, not only
he's already
that,
fighting the dude. He's not gonna win.
No, but they could make it in a kind of way where it's like where he surprises Yuri with
sure.
like actual raw technique, and they're like, whoa. He is good, but he does not have my technology.
He blocked him.
Impossible.
He has learned well.
Yeah. No, it's not going to be like that. I think it's going to be just, it's absolutely pummeled. And I like those types of kind of, those kinds of stories of where the underdog is one that just has that simple but entertaining resolve. They just keep going. They keep getting up. I would like this to be a show where injuries are a thing, though.
Yeah.
Where, like, he has to be careful about, like, taking a toll on his body over time because of just the nature of this whole thing.
Like the fact that he is doing this fight. I mean, okay, maybe not necessarily right after the crash, because his motorcycle was repaired again, so there could have been a passage of time. But he was going to fight him immediately after taking a spill on the highway.
On the motorcycle,
yeah. So
to be fair, he did turn the motorcycle on its side, and that kind of slowed it down dramatically.
Yes. But still,
But yeah, this kid I think is tough, and that's another thing I wanted to bring up. We're not really sure how old he is.
No.
But the way they have the voice actor sounding like a young adult, like not a kid.
Right.
This guy isn't a teenager, I don't think.
No, and that was one of the other things that gave me the Spike Spiegel vibe.
Yes.
Apart from the unruly mop of hair.
Right. He definitely this whole show's art style in a lot of ways
is like an homage to Cowboy
Bebop, yeah.
And Akira, I liked how they made it so that the motorcycles
true.
And the vehicles and stuff had the light trails behind them.
Yep.
Like,
very
awesome.
very good Akira reference. Yes. The thing about the story, though, is you can tell that the hook is simple, but it's effective. One of the things that I think makes it actually way more effective than anything in the story is the music. I want to talk about
the overall style of it is.
Yeah, I just want to talk about that music in that it keeps this kind of steady beat going, and it ramps up at little moments and has little mini kind of jumps. But just doing that in combination with the scenes they were doing as someone's like bobbing and weaving, having that kind of light on their feet, stance, I guess. I don't know exactly what that's called, but that really got me into all the scenes involving the boxing.
Yes.
Even when you mentioned how they would reuse animation for specific things, because
it seems like this show is all about the style, like from the gear to the music to the animation to all of it, because the art is gorgeous, right? You can tell that they're putting a ton of effort into that, but you can also tell that they're kind of intentionally putting effort into making the animation seem like it had less effort put into it.
Right. There are these little things that they do. I noticed that some of the line art also seem to have these intentional blurring effects made to obscure the fact that the line art isn't complete.
Right.
Which is something that older anime would do.
And just the idea of the character designs.
Oh, sure.
The fact that the character designs are so simplistic and stuff. Like when I saw Yuri, I'm like, wow, he looks really I think he needs a bit more angles and stuff,
right?
And things for to really qualify as an antagonist in this story,
right?
Or funkier hair or something.
I think they're gonna have those brought out in the fights. That's what this show is kind of telling us. Also, is that they're paying an homage to older style anime, but they're also letting us know that this is a show about boxing. Rather than this being a character show, this is a boxing show.
Yes.
This is a true to form classic boxing show.
Right. Underlining the classic and putting it in bold italics.
Right.
Yeah.
Very much so.
One of the things that just has to get a shout out as far as specific things that they did in this episode. Was the part where the rain stops and they're just
that was awesome,
and it shows Yuri's face up close and everything. That was great. It was really good.
The effect that they did also when having Junk Dog slap away, what is her name, Shiratori? Shirato's the business card. It does the kind of the slow-mo sound effect, of hollow thing there, but Yuri had this little do I go? And in that moment, I feel like we understood the character.
Right.
One of the things that they showed in this episode that was kind of a parallel was Junkbox has these guys in his life that are not fathers, not literally, but they are they're kind of like mentors. They're guardians, people that are looking out for this lost child,
Sometimes, most of the time.
Right.
Yeah.
But the thing is that Yuri has Shirato. He calls her owner.
Yeah.
Now, the
as
thing
far
is,
as little things to, put big world building questions in there.
Well, I think it's because she's sponsoring him essentially to win. She's paid off.
Oh, gotcha.
In the same way that Pops has a game running with Junk Dog being, slated to lose.
Right.
She has rigged everything for him to win.
Well, and also he could be talking he might not necessarily be talking about himself as a person. He could also be talking about his gear. And
that's also true.
And
that's
if it's something where the gear
up.
involves it's not something he can never take off,
right?
Then that would also lend to the whole idea.
He is an experiment for this whole thing. So essentially, she bought control of his body,
right?
Which also brings up another really messed up thing: is that it's essentially a form of experimental slavery. She's taking. I mean.
Indentured servitude.
Indentured servitude. Yes, let's keep this modern here.
Right.
And if at any point, he's basically contractually obligated to do whatever she wants him to do from this point forward because they have their technology in his body.
Yep.
That brings up all kinds of plot points and stuff. But the fact
they
that
probably
he
won't
seems
go into that too much because the focus on the boxing, and everything,
but I want to throw out a really dumb theory here. Yuri is built up to show how different he is from
Junk Dog.
Yeah, I think in a lot of ways the point of his character it could be that by the end they'll realize how similar they are.
Okay,
and one of the things that I think would be very cool to see is that Junk Dog is who he is regardless of his gear. Yuri is who he is because of his gear.
Okay.
And the reason why he's so loyal to her
It's because she made him who he is today.
It's because she made him who he is today. Maybe Shirato Industries also did that as well.
Okay.
Because maybe he was like it's some kind of RoboCop situation where you know he had this horrible life.
His spine was broken.
Yeah, he was disabled and had like no hope or anything like that. And they approach him with an experimental
Would you like to become
technology thing, you know?
Just sign on the dotted line if you want to become a Megalobox champion.
Right.
Yeah.
And since we know how integral gambling is to at least the underworld area of this whole thing, one of the things that Pops said was that he said something like frauds like us aren't meant to bask in the sunlight or something like that. And it was such a poetic line that I was like, wait a minute. What if the point is that the only people right now, and this is maybe a little bit of a kind of a critique on the whole like capitalism side of this, is that they're trying to say that all the people who are in the sunlight, essentially, they're gaming the system of the Megalobox thing through TV and advertising.
I thought it was all okay
to basically keep their money in a position of power.
I thought it was all him basically saying we're not like those people, we're just frauds, you know, and this is our lot in life kind of a thing.
I think that's a possibility, but I don't think he was drawing specifically, in his own words, the connection to them immediately. I'm drawing out the connection based on the idea of what happens if they were really successful frauds. They would have their own business, which would turn into an organization.
Like if this went like full A Knight's Tale kind of a thing.
Well, like no, just like their business was successful. Because they run a business of bringing people in there to watch the fights, which is an entry fee. They probably take a cut from every gambling, and then they have the whole game running there. But imagine if, say, their numbers just were multiplied by 100. Suddenly, they would have enough money to build out a big place.
They could have multiple gambling areas.
Right, the economy of that area would change, and they would become potentially a rival organization to...
Sure.
I'm saying that's, of course, super far out there, but who's to say that Megalonia or Shirato Industries didn't start out along those lines? I know they're the ones that designed the gear. That's their thing.
Right.
And that's kind of the main reason why they're in the story, is to have a...
the origin for
corruption,
the sport.
Or I would say a big corrupt organization, corporation. You know, that's a very big kind of antagonistic trope in Japan, is to have the evil corporation that...
Right.
There's nothing about them right now that's evil, quote unquote.
The what they have is that it's a brutal sport.
Yes.
And that they basically they created it and profit from it and propagate it, and you know, for all intents and purposes, they seem to be the, you know, majority shareholder of all things Megalobox.
Right. They have a corner on the market on the distribution of gear. So.
Right. They make the gear. They promote the fights. They host the fights. They you know they have the champion, you know, representing.
There's rip-off gear that's sold around in the slums and stuff, and that's where Junkbox got his. Maybe it's self-made or something.
Or whatever. Yeah.
And that'd be really cool. But you know, their gear is never going to be something that would ever be sold on the mass market, because it's just incomparable to the legit stuff.
And again, one other thing that I would say needs to be mentioned about this show is just how much attention to the detail and the aesthetic and the atmosphere of the show they put in there. From the riding the motorcycle to when Pops, you know, pulls out the little chip and throws it in, you know, into the water, and it, you know, hisses and stuff, to like all those little things that they don't need to do, right? And they tend to focus it mostly on the machines, the machinery, the technology, you know, stuff like that, rather than like, say, the characters. But they do a really good job with it, which makes you have this feeling of like, okay, yes, this is an underground fight where you can actually see all the little bits of, this is junk that they're just making work. You know, like that's a really cool feeling. It reminds me kind of like, it gives me kind of like a Firefly feeling almost. You know, even though like maybe Firefly didn't go too much into the tech, just that overall like aesthetic. I really like it.
Yeah. Great start to a show. Yeah. Looking forward to the next one, particularly because they hooked us with a a fight that we're excited to kind of see a main character lose in, which is going to be cool.
And that's interesting because right now I would say I'm more interested in Yuri as a character than I am about Junk Dog, or at least I like Yuri as a character more right now than Junk Dog.
Right, and we know that we're about to like Junk Dog more because of the losing of this next fight.
Yeah, right.
And it's not necessarily going to be the sacrificing of Yuri's potential character, because I don't see any of them as really having a true character yet.
Right.
I think that this was a foundation episode, and the character
the
character episodes in anime tend to be usually around episodes 3 to 6. So we'll wait for that one there. So guys, if you want to watch the next episode's reaction to Megalobox, go check out the link in the description below for our Patreon. You can get an early access there. You can watch full-length reactions there, and all this comes with Discord access, so you can chat with us about whatever. And if that interests you, we'll see you there. But until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you all next time.